These are the knowledge requirements for our yellow belts. So our yellow belts, much like our yellow striped belts, will have one pattern meaning that they'll need to memorize, and they'll also have a few oral things that they'll need to memorize. Instead of history this time, we'll be talking about some Korean and some knowledge about sparring, as we're getting to the point where we're starting to practice some sparring a little bit more. So, first of all, our pattern meaning. So if you didn't watch our previous video, or you don't know what a pattern meaning is, every pattern that you do has historical significance or some meaning as to the history of Taekwondo and how it helped its formation. Or potentially it was just something about the history of Korea where Taekwondo developed. So for this one, for Dan Gun, we've got a little bit of a short one here. Dan Gun is named after the Holy Dan Gun, the legendary founder of Korea in the year 2333 BC. I missed a few words there. Do you have your sheet with you? What did I miss? Anyway, if you don't have a sheet, make sure you ask at the front so you can memorize that. I don't expect you to memorize it from this video, but it's important that you do practice it regularly. Now for our oral questions, our students should know two different things. They're going to need to know 3 Korean words, specifically what we say at the beginning of every class. So that is 저야, 사부님, 그냥. Now if you haven't heard this before, you've probably never been to a class before, because we say it just about all the time. But you might not know what they mean. So the first thing we're going to say, context clues might give it away. We're going to say 저야, which means attention. We're going to snap into our attention position when we say that. 사부님 means instructor or face the instructor. And 그냥 means bow. So at the beginning of every class, you've probably heard it happen before. We'll say turn and face on number 1, and they will say 저야, 사부님, 그냥. So again, that means attention, instructor, and bow. Now finally, our yellow belts are also going to need to know the 4 rules of sparring. And I know what you're thinking. They're not really rules, they're more like tips or guidelines. So the 4 rules of sparring are just things that we want to think about while we are working towards sparring and while we are sparring, because they're really important tools. And actually that is our first one, our tools. So we want to know all the different techniques that we have. Our tools are what we have in our belt, our arsenal of movements. And we want to make sure we use that full arsenal. If I only ever throw 1 or 2 techniques, it's going to be really easy to learn how to defend against me. The second is our angles. I don't always want to just attack on this straight line, because we're not in a straight line and we're not 2-dimensional, we're 3-dimensional. And being able to use my angles and sliding from side to side and traveling around my opponent is really important. I also want to make sure that I have good timing. If I see an opening on your face and then I strike it 3 seconds later after you've already protected it, that's not going to do me much good. I want to make sure that I can time my strikes so that they are ready when you are not. And hopefully vice versa, my blocks are ready at the same time that you're ready. I guess that wasn't vice versa. And the last one we have, so we have our distance. And that is knowing how far away I am. Because obviously, even if everything else is right, if I'm using my angles and I'm using my tools effectively and I have good timing, but I'm too far away or I'm too close, that's not going to matter. So I want to make sure that I have good understanding of my distancing. And my distancing can be practiced all the time. It's really important to know how much range I have when I kick. Because if I don't, then I'm not going to be able to accurately control my kicks. I'm not going to be accurately able to hit targets if I don't know how long my legs are or how long my range is. And you're going to be able to learn that just by practicing. The more you practice your techniques, the more you'll instinctually know how far you can punch, if something is in range or if something is out of range, if I need to slide, if I need to shuffle, or how I'm going to make sure that I am at the correct distance. So again, that was angles, distance, tools, and timing. Those are the 4 rules of sparring. The first 4 rules of sparring. We also want to know our 3 Korean words, 저야, 사부님, 그냥, and we also want to know the interpretation for Dan Gun. Dan Gun is named after the Holy Dan Gun, legendary founder of Korea in the year 2333 BC.